Rapid Africa. All day, all day. Either find we don't go find we do it. Rise up, rise up. No, we don't go carry last no more. Line up, and now you better take action. If you believe that you are royal, flexing your move, gotta show. Let them understand that who you are is bigger than the world. Yeah, for so many years and so many ways to try to pull us down. By the time it's down, we'll turn the things around. So we move into the
Dear customer, My Body Rituals takes pride and passion in spreading the word about the importance of caring for your skin on a cellular level. Blessed to heal eczema, as this amazing plant-based formula was tested 14 years ago on my grandson, who since then is completely healed of chronic dry skin. Additionally, our body butter prevents post-surgery, minor incisions, blemishes, prevent and/or smooth wrinkles, and diaper rash, etc. Because your body is made up of earth, it's only appropriate what you place on your skin, and hair is also made from the earth. Our products are made from love with you in mind. Yours truly, My Body Rituals family.
This is Africans Leaving America. I am Afia Koomson, and I have a wonderful guest on the platform for a second time. Can you please introduce yourselves to the platform, sir?
Oh, greetings, family. It's a pleasure to be here for another occasion with our sister and this wonderful group, Africans Leaving America. My name is Ahmahdiyahu. I am living in Ghana, West Africa today. I've been here consecutively for 3 years, and we are an organization that are assisting our people to come to Africa, primarily Ghana, West Africa.
And you are doing a wonderful job. I have been following you for years, probably since you've been in Ghana. You came up in my news feed one time and I just was like, wow, this brother's really doing a good job. So I am delighted to have you on the platform and to be able to interview you for a second time today. My first question would be, so let us know about the project that you got going on, because you got the OffGrid Living that I've been watching, and just tell the platform a little bit about that.
Sure. So we were long time calling our YouTube channel Ahmahdiyahu in Eden. And I decided that with the lifestyle that I've been practicing, off-grid living, that I really wanted to put more emphasis on that idea, that lifestyle. So in turn, we changed the name of the channel to OffGrid in Africa. And now I'm preparing to actually move on to our 24 acres. It's going to be a rather modest compound, meaning I'll be living in a tent inside an enclosed space to keep out the mosquitoes and what have you. We'll also have solar power out there. There's already a solar powered borehole, so we have access to very clean groundwater. I'll soon be putting a filtration system on the land. So I'll have plumbing, i.e. I'll be able to bath with a gravity fed shower, and I'll have a pretty modest sanitation system, meaning I'll be able to use the bathroom in what we here in Ghana call a village toilet. So I'll share more about that idea later in an upcoming video. But essentially the idea is to enter into displaying Africans now, and even more so, particularly Africans from the diaspora coming home to Mama Africa and engrossing themselves in off-grid living. And yeah, it's a bit squeamish for most. Not everybody's used to camping, or not everybody's used to camping, if you will, at the levels of actually living essentially outdoors in many respects, full time, until you create another living situation. So it's in many ways demonstrating how you can go about creating a residence, creating abode, creating a home for yourself and your family if you had to essentially do it from scratch. And I'm a big YouTuber. I can name drop a whole lot of channels that I watch, and all these people are not African. And it's not a racist thing. It's not about color. But what I'm saying is I'm not finding enough channels whereby it's Africans demonstrating, here's how we're creating these types of greater quality of life and freedom from applying sustainable development principles. So, and I'm just among a few that are here in Ghana who are doing it. And I just want to demonstrate it more in this season going forward.
I feel like that's the season that we're moving into. The future will be more of the sustainable living, getting out of the electricity, basically the dependency on the government. I feel like we have to start doing things on our own. And, I feel like you are really doing a good job with showing us how to go about doing that. And like you said, it's not a race thing, but, us as, Africans, we do need to start, depending on the land and what God gave us, most definitely, because there is ways around that, So, yes, brother, you are really doing a good job when it comes to that. A lot of people don't know how to live off the grid, and you are truly showing how to do that. So has this been like something that your family has accepted? How do they feel about that?
Yeah, well, they've long seen me to be a bit of a hippie. From a very young age, I was definitely the eccentric child, I guess. And today, definitely, everybody's grown to have a level of love and respect and appreciation for me and the family. And I would say they might say they love what I'm doing, but they just can't do it themselves. I think that's where I've kind of seen my family today. It's like they're proud of me being here. They, in many respects, would want to be here themselves, but they just can't let go of that system.
And I really feel like, not to be arrogant, but some people are just chosen for different paths, and you are walking the path that the Most High has chosen for you. So
All
I want
praises.
to also ask you, brother, what would you say are the keys to a successful repatriation from America or from any other country to Africa?
That's an excellent question. And I feel like I have a pretty good sense of your audience, and that they're they're beyond the superficial, meaning to be on this platform or to be in this type of group, you really have to have a mindset where you're thinking externally. You see yourself living outside of the confines of Western society. And just to already set your mind to doing so is great. I see that as step one. And I think for many to move beyond step one, there are going to be some keys that would make you more readily able to make that next step. And it's not just, I should say it this way, it's more than something emotional. And I think this is where a lot of us get stuck at. There's definitely a very emotional aspect to the idea of come out of her, my people. There's a very emotional idea to back to Africa. There's a very emotional idea of COVID's vaccines are becoming mandatory, blah, 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 gotta go. Whatever perspective, whatever lens you're looking at the idea of coming home to Africa through, there is oftentimes an emotional aspect or relationship to that idea that sometimes we just can't move beyond. So what I'm saying is yes, there's a very practical and pragmatic approach, meaning you start looking at downsizing, living a little more modestly. You start looking at the economics of coming home. You start pricing plane tickets. Of course, you narrow it down to where you'd actually like to move to in Africa. So yes, there's this very practical approach, but because I know your audience, I'm going to give a little more substance to my response to your question, which is you at some point have to address the emotional aspect of how you are viewing your coming home to Africa. And it does require some very tough decisions at times, meaning maybe part of your strategic plan, your economic strategic plan is you say, okay, well, I'm not returning back to the United States because it requires me buying plane tickets again, and I don't want to have to do that again. Well, you have to realistically look at what that means. Meaning when you get a call when grandmama passed away and everyone's, beckoning your attendance at the funeral, it's not an easy conversation to say, I'm not coming. It's not an easy conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you're one of those who are making economic decisions to maintain that Airbnb property because you said, hey, this is going to create residual income and passive income while I'm in Africa. But then one of your guests take all the the copper pipe out your wall. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, I gotta jump on the plane and go tend to our property. Well, that's another plane ticket.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's dealing with a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes difficult to juggle the idea of living in Africa and still living in America. So I say all that to say, you will eventually have to start making decisions and say, well, what am I willing to let go of? Can I burn certain bridges? Can I put a little more fruit in this basket in Africa rather than to holding on to certain things, where you're working to get away from? Because those things in time do begin to weigh you down a bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like the diaspora, we're kind of like running away from America. You know, it's kind of like, we want to live in Africa, but we don't know how to live in Africa. You know, we have been here all our lives, we have been used to a certain system, and when we go to Africa, we don't know how to live there, you know. Um, it takes a lot of getting adjusted to, you know. You are not on American soil, you are on African soil. The laws are different, the people are different, the culture is different, you know. And that goes into my next question, brother. Tell us about the culture. What roles do we play there as African Americans coming to another country? What has been like some of the pros and cons for you and your family?
So I would say each African nation may have its own unique culture in terms of how that country relates to the African from the diaspora coming to that respective country to repatriate. So Ghana, however, is very unique in that Ghana is saying, we are a gateway to coming home to Africa. President Nana Akufo-Addo has welcomed the African in the diaspora to come home to Ghana through the year of return and most recently the decade of return. So Ghana has a culture where we're saying, hey, come on home to Ghana. And I have been one of those many to come home to Ghana. So I would say the culture and the atmosphere is definitely very inviting, very welcoming. And you're able to come and to establish yourself with your family, businesses, to your home. And it's a wonderful experience. And I would definitely encourage people to look at Ghana as a very wonderful place to call home. The cons, I would say, is you just have to have enough self-esteem about yourself, meaning for someone my complexion, I'm looked at as a white man. You can
Oh,
even be a
really?
little bit, you can even be a little bit darker than myself, and someone still just by hearing your voice, knowing you're not from Ghana, you may be characterized as. But as long as you know who you are, you'll be all right. And so, that's something, that you'll have to consider. But I wouldn't really say there's too many cons to coming home to Mama Africa.
I don't know. When I went to Ghana, I just felt like I was home. I was like, you know what? This is where I'm supposed to be. And I have to make sure that I alert the diaspora as well. You know, that's how I started this group, brother, because when I went to Ghana, I just was like, oh my goodness, they lied to us. You know, they would never show the beauty of Africa in America. They didn't want us coming back to Africa, period.
Yes.
You know,
Right.
and I helped another girl. She went to Ghana on her own by herself. You know, she wasn't going to meet any guy or anything. And I hooked her up with one of my moderators, and she just loved it. You know, she had the best time. And I interviewed her, and it took her a while to adjust to getting back to the United States. It took her a while. She was depressed, as many of us are when we come back. You know, we are depressed.
Right.
And that's why I feel like Ghana is, you know, one of the best places to repatriate to as an African American. You know, that's just my perspective, you know, but Ghana is pretty much easily laid back for you to repatriate to as an African American.
True.
Yeah. But I'm glad that you and your family are doing great there. You are doing great things. I have a couple more questions for you, brother. So let us know some advice to give to the diaspora with the repatriation costs. Do you think that we should buy land first and build, or should we rent? How does that work? Like the business aspect and things of that nature? You know, can you give us a little bit, you know, about that?
Sure. So in respects to the renting versus building or buying, I would say that a good strategy to apply would be initially renting for 1 year. And I get it. You know, a lot of people will say, well, that's money that you could have, you know, applied to building or buying something, which is very true. And granted, there's different levels to how someone is going about their plan, meaning for someone who's been to Ghana 2 or 3 times, you already have a greater understanding of buying land. So you know the do's and the don'ts about buying land already. So you're more seasoned. You know, you're maybe not a veteran yet, but you're more seasoned. But the more newbie, if you will, who's, you know, never been to Ghana, who's very excited and it's very emotional, the idea of coming home, you know, these are the ones that sometimes we hear the horror stories where someone actually bought some land from someone they never met. And then they got here and found out that that land has been sold and bought a number of times, you know. So, you know, there's definitely some wisdom, you know, that one would want to go about, you know, when coming home. So oftentimes renting the first year is a good way to get acclimated to being in Ghana. As far as a business is concerned, I would say that, you know, do as much research as you can. Being on a platform like yours, you have a vast resource in the members or the participants on that platform who come from a wide array of life experience and knowledge and education and degrees and certificates and what have you, you know, so that you can engage in conversation and share knowledge and wisdom and information. And that's a very valuable resource. Yourself having already visited and been to Ghana a number of times, you're a tremendous resource in being able to participate in a platform like this, you know, so that's very important. So businesses can be established relatively easy here. You just have to really understand the industry that you want to get involved in, do your research. And economics, I would say, yes, you know, you want to be, don't be naive, you know, and that there are economics here in Ghana. It's a little bit of a different system, of course, but there's so much that I could say about economics. But if I really just had to sum it up, I would say continue utilizing whatever currency that you're utilizing from whatever nation you're coming from, because I imagine its value will be greater than here in Ghana. So that can be a strategy to apply, meaning that that foreign currency's value is greater than the Ghanaian CD. So in turn, you'll have more Ghana CDs, you know, than if you were just earning Ghana CDs in Ghana. So that's one idea, while at the same time, because I know your audience is as awesome as they are, I'm going to give another perspective and say, don't get attached. don't become dependent on that foreign currency, meaning when you get to Ghana, even long before you get here and all your research, start considering you need to diversify your portfolio, meaning don't become dependent on that US dollar in Africa, because at some point you're not going to be able to rely on that US dollar. So you need to start figuring out how to generate local revenue at some point.
Now on your, is it 24 acres that you have?
Yes.
Okay. Are you selling any of that land, or are you just using it for your sustainable living?
Yes, we have actually begun to sell some of the land. I would say that, and I'm sorry to make it sound so exclusive, but in many respects it is. It's a very small circle right now within our collective that the land has been made available to. I've shared in a previous YouTube video, that our organization had gone through some internal challenges that led to a separation within the number of the members of the collective. And in such, we did restructure how we were going to go about managing the land. But it's proven still a very positive experience. And with myself moving out to the land very soon, it's really just going to start that process of other families coming very soon as well. So it's proven a very exciting journey.
And people can still buy into the Bamboo Roots Collective, correct?
At this time, the emphasis is not really on Bamboo Roots so much as a collective. Now, granted, those members, those families who continue to work together, yes, we continue to work together collectively. But the emphasis right now is being placed on repatriation assistance program, meaning we're in the business of helping those who desire to repatriate to come home to Mama Africa, particularly Ghana, to be able to go about that process as effectively and efficiently as possible. We're essentially paying it forward so that you can avoid the pitfalls and the challenges that many of us have incurred as a result of not having these pre-existing relationships.
Man, I tell you, the Most High picked you for a purpose. He knew we was coming back. I'm telling you, all praises, brother, all praises. The Most High has a direction for all of us. It's just up to us to tap into it and to follow it. And you are truly following yours, and I'm following mine. Not everybody is, gonna accept it and support us, but hey, all we need is the Most High supporting us, right? That's it, that's all.
And if I may, share a thought in respect to what you're saying is, there are going to be what we all might characterize as a leader. And please, I say this in the utmost humility, as I don't see myself or have ever suggested myself to be a leader in anything. While at the same time, we will see those who will say, okay, let me go and organize something. Meaning it took some foresight for you to go and start a Facebook page called Africans Leaving America. And now your platform is thousands. And that's good because it creates a place for people to commune, to communicate about the idea of leaving America. That's very necessary. And likewise, there's going to be a lot of necessities on this journey, meaning there are going to be other people who need to step up and say, okay, well, let me put together a program that helps people get more effectively and efficiently out of Western society. Well, as more and more of us begin to see reason to do that, then it's just going to be of greater assistance to those who are in need of that service, while at the same time, keep in mind that to whom much is given, much is required. So if you do choose to do that, it too comes at a cost, meaning people are going to be in your business because you're a very public figure now. You're going to be in other people's business. You've got to learn how to deal in more etiquette in the fact that you're going to be working in such a public position. So, sometimes it comes with a lot of what they might call sacrifice, because it's going to take a lot more of your time. And if you do open up your doors to people like myself, well, keep in mind, where people coming to Africa sometimes with a lot of traumas, whether that be
Yes.
emotional trauma, mental trauma, spiritual traumas, so you're inviting a lot of different spirits and personalities into your home. So it does take, a special character to be able to just say, hey, you know what, I'm going to even work, that closely with my people to share my home with them,
Mm-hmm.
so, and it doesn't mean you can't come up with a different program that doesn't necessarily invite people into your home, but thus far that has been the program that has been most viable for our organization.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I really feel like, we have a purpose, brother. And like you said, it's not about being a leader, it's about doing what's right. You know, at the end of the day, this is something that we felt like was right to do, and we are doing it, and it's necessary. It's very
Yeah,
necessary. And these times that we're living in, our brothers and sisters, we need to know that we have somewhere else to go. We don't have to stay here in America. It is a choice, you know. Um,
absolutely.
so I want to ask you, brother, share your vision for Africa for the future. What is your vision for Africa?
I feel Africa is in need of greater sustainable development principles, the application of such, meaning that we need those who are desiring to come home to Africa to already be considering the idea of sustainable development. And I know that you're in a system right now where that's not an idea that's being pushed as much, because those systems are based upon greed and in turn create dependency. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why you have utilities. You pay primarily the big three: water, power, and gas. And
Mm-hmm.
in turn, that keeps you locked into a system. And that system oftentimes keeps you thinking that you have to trade your one valuable commodity that once spent, you can never get back, that being your time, that you often choose to spend your time. You trade your time for someone else's idea of value, money, and you just stay locked into that system. So when I
Mm-hmm.
start saying things like sustainable development, it might sound a little cliche when someone says solar panels, but realistically, there are a lot of us who are applying solar panels on a daily basis, and that affords us a reality where we don't have to pay a light bill, and we have boreholes that are powered by solar, and that allows us to have water that we don't have to pay a water bill.
Mm-hmm.
And we are looking into applying systems like biodigesters, where yes, even your own poop is a valuable resource, but those systems you live in were designed with sanitation systems that are not regenerative, meaning they have sewage and septic systems. This is very destructive. So
Mm-hmm.
if you live in a city or a town where it's a system where there's septic and sewage, that means that the people who designed that town didn't have the best interests of those future residents in mind. Well, what we're saying is consider, when you're coming home to Africa, start thinking sustainably, start thinking about sustainable development,
Mm-hmm.
meaning at some point when you build your house and you put its systems in place, put a system in place that is sustainable, that is regenerative, and organizations like ours share information about those types of systems.
Okay. We are building a house right now, and most definitely when we start the solar power and the borehole, we will most definitely look to you for some information, brother. Um, we are almost done with the foundation now. So I mean it's gonna be a process, but it will get done, most definitely. Um, so let's get to the last question and then we're gonna wrap this up. But I could talk to you all day about this. I'm so serious. But how has your life changed since living in Ghana full time?
It's been a wonderful experience. Thinking back to when I was living in the United States, you know, there were definitely a lot of YouTube channels that I watched with people who were living in Ghana. And, you know, it always just made me foresee myself living here one day. And then when I just put the plan together to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to come permanently. And I just moved forward on that plan and then got here. Yeah, there was a lot of lessons. There was a lot of learning. There were some hardships, as there's going to be some tests and challenges on this path. But when you just stay the course and you stay on the path, and I see myself as someone who is of service, and it's not a perfect servitude, you know, it has its challenges as well, but that's part of my learning as well. I learn from my mistakes as well. So when you're of service, I feel that will improve the quality of your life on this path. Meaning, don't just come to Africa saying, I'm going to get my house, I'm going to get my land, I'm going to build a big old 10-foot wall around it with some barbed wire and an electric fence. No, that's going to cause you to, you know, to practice exclusion in Africa. You need to practice inclusion in Africa, you know. So you want to come and, you know, really get acclimated to being in Ghana and being among the people, if you will, as we will say here in Ghana. So, you know, I would say that my experience has been tremendous, as I see myself as an African, and I live in a small village where everyone knows my name. I apply sustainable development principles. I live an off-grid lifestyle that affords me an opportunity to preserve my resources, where I'm not just having to pay a whole bunch of bills, you know? So, and I guess really my motivation is just to share my experience with others, you know, is to really just be able to share this idea of how many of us who have been living in Africa have found very practical and pragmatic ways of going about creating livelihoods and creating you know, homesteads, or creating compounds, or creating lifestyles that affords us a level of quality of life and freedom that we never experienced when living in Western society. So we're just in many ways just shining our light because we don't feel like these other major news media outlets are going to do it.
Right, right. And that is so true. You know, like I said, they will never show you, they will never show you the beauty of Africa and America. Never. You know, you'll see, you know, Jamaica, you know, being shown as, you know, the beautiful seas and, you know, the trees and everything like that, but not Africa. And Mama Africa is beautiful. You know, she has so many different aspects of beauty, you know, and
Absolutely.
I'm just glad that our people are starting to be on board and going to see for themselves, you know. So I thank you so much, Ahmahdiyahu. I really do, brother. And we must do this again. We must do this again. I just feel like sometimes 30 minutes is not enough, you know, because hey, I can go on
Yeah.
and on and on with you, you know,
Right,
most
right.
definitely. But greetings to your family. And thank you for all that you are
Thank you.
doing on the continent of Africa, living in Ghana right now. Thank you,
All
brother,
praises.
so much.
All
You have a
praises.
great evening.
Okay, you do the same.
Bye bye.
All right, take care.